I promised to share this story about 2 years of utter isolation that I had after leaving the Hasidic system. And I'm going to share it now how it ended actually. So, at first, when we left the Hasidic community, because I had gone through so much trauma that my kids were almost taken away, I had police break down my door. It was really um, a whole story that I'm not going to get into right now. I lost my faith in humanity. I had given up on building new relationships. I had given my heart and soul to my community. I wrote songs to inspire people, to really give them hope, give them support in their lifestyle because I believed in it. And then, as soon as something didn't match up with their expectations of me, I was thrown out like garbage. And that made me realize that I don't know if I want to invest in relationships. Like, I can't trust people. Um, so, fast forward after I left the community, which was a while after that, when I say thrown out like garbage, I don't mean like they sent me out of Tosh. I mean, while living in Tosh, I was treated as if I'm garbage. And that made me realize that I have to move away. At first, I didn't move out of the Hasidic world. I moved just out of Tosh and I moved to Montreal, to the Hasidic world. It was a whole long story how my son ran away from Cheder because they were hitting the kids, and that's what ultimately helped us leave. But back to what I was going to say. Those 2 years of utter isolation were killing me because, in the one hand, I was so desperate to protect myself from getting destroyed again with that kind of betrayal and that kind of rejection that I felt, that felt like excruciating and not bearable to put myself through again, obviously. But on the other hand, human connection is what keeps us alive. Human connection is what we need for our mental, emotional, and physical health. And I was denying myself that. Of course, I was lucky. I had my husband with me and I had children, but I was dying to have friendships, people who I can share ideas and experiences with. Like, it was so vital for me, especially since I'm a connector. I'm the kind of person who loves community. And I was officially blocking myself from that. Like, I built that wall around me that let people know that I'm like unapproachable. I officially, like, I don't know if I was aware about it, but I was like officially repelling people, not wanting to get close to anybody. And after 2 years, I finally realized that I can't do this anymore and I need to explore some way of connecting with people. And I heard about Facebook. I had no idea how to use the internet, so I went to the library as often as I could. I had young kids, so I didn't have a lot of time to go there. And I tried to figure out how Facebook works. So I still remember that Friday when I signed up and I created a Facebook account because I finally had found a friend at a bus stop. Like, not a friend who I would be able to, quote unquote, spend the rest of my journey with, but it was somebody who I felt I could trust at the moment and just to have a conversation and share a little bit about my journey. And that person had Facebook, so I had somebody to add to Facebook. Before that, I was like, what do you mean Facebook helps you find friends? Like, how? They obviously say you should add people, but I am not going to add just anybody. And then I found on Facebook somebody who called themselves Yiddish Kind. So obviously I added them, and I was still having a half anonymous profile because my Yiddish name is Shifra Lowen and my legal name is actually Clara Wasserstein. A whole story about that. I was born, like, at my birth, I got that legal name. So it was sort of anonymous still. And I had a conversation with this person called Yiddishkind, and I shared a little bit of um, my background, and they were also Hasidic. And they got curious, and they asked me if I would be interested to have a conversation on the phone. And I hesitated, but I said yes, because they assured me that there's actually a way that I can stay anonymous, and they will stay anonymous, because there's a phone call that you can call like a conference. I should have the information somewhere, so if you want to know, you can text me. I can try to find it. In any case, we did that conference call. I still remember it like now. I was in the library at the public phone, trying to talk like quietly, because I was in a library, but there was a phone there, so we had that little corner where I could talk. And I think I spoke for an hour. I just talked and talked and talked and shared my whole journey. And that person just listened, but really listened, like with respect and curiosity, asked some questions at the end, but there was zero judgment. And it was the first time in my life that I was actually able to word my story from my perspective, not what people are saying, really how it happened to me, like how I feel about my story, to own my story. That was so empowering that week